Let's run through it. So the first thing you would want to do is actually put some security in these places that aren't secured so that access is limited to the people you want on there, the people that necessarily have to be there. Increased threat of foot and mouth, the last thing you want is unwanted visitors on your farm, and you don't know where they've been. And they are not thinking about biosecurity, so you're going to have to think about it yourself. So you lock down your farm, okay, and only letting the things that you want to come in. Another thing that would be smart is don't leave your cattle out there on the road frontage unless you absolutely have to. I know that's the way a lot of our farms are set up, but see if you can't pull them off the road, put them in a more secure place. Okay? Again, virus is out there, maybe. We just don't want it to come right here. And right here is our cattle. Okay? Now, we've talked about moving our animals. Let's go a step further. We've got on-farm use vehicles, and that makes that vehicle more restricted to the farm and safer. Then we do off-farm use. Off-farm use vehicles, isn't it a good idea to give them a little shower before they come home? All right? And that's not only your vehicle, but tankers and tractors and anything else coming on that farm. You don't want to bring virus onto your farm. The only way I know to keep from doing that, if your vehicle's got to go off farm, is decon. That's what we're going to talk about in our yellow document. Okay? And then the other thing, that's accomplished through a power wash. Other thing you want to think about is your movement from your house, which your wife may have been off farm doing some shopping. She comes home. Of course, you give her a hug, peck on the cheek, then you get ready to go milk the cows. What should you do? What should you think about? Same thing you did for your vehicles, and that would be maybe you should take a shower before you go down to the barn. Just ways of putting in stop gaps in before your cattle come into contact with you or anybody else. Okay? And then, of course, you got your little disinfectant bucket down there, all the things that you might do already. Okay? Super common sense, extra work. Well, foot and mouth is extra contagious. We've got to be ready to do some extra work. All right. Biosecurity is important. This is a funny. This is Jim Howie. He's done a lot of work and really appreciate his efforts. And here he was deconning a tanker at one of the exercises. This is the on-farm exercise that we did. And the point to this slide is Jim, pay attention to what you're doing. This stuff is important. Okay? And we're going to have to do the same. The world will watch. We will not export milk or meat products out of our country till we've convinced the world. They'll watch us and they'll see if we're paying attention or not. The virus won't give us a break. It'll prove whether you're paying attention or not. Okay? Now, this is what we wanted to come to, folks. You see it on the screen. You see it in my hand. You're going to get a copy of this, and we call it the yellow document, so you would know the dairy industry's put some other documents out, a purple one and a couple of other manuals, and so we just thought we'd say caution. Yellow document. We thought the color fit and the red writing and such. So on the slide, here's the whole document. Folks, pretty nice that your biosecurity plan fits on a page. All right, let's go over it. What I'm going to do is blow this slide up by cutting it in half, and we'll look at half of what's on your yellow document first, go through it, and I'm just going to turn my back on you and go through it with you and talk about what we've got there, and I want you to envision putting this on place on your farm. First of all, you're going to ask, how in the world will I know to implement this? The state veterinarian, come threatening a foot-mouth outbreak, is going to want to put in place some type of biosecurity plan. And what he'll want to do is be able to say, do this. Well, here it is. When he says do this, the industry should put it in play. If you don't, well, you just put your whole industry at risk. Okay? This is industry developed, industry accepted, so it's what you need to do to protect yourselves. State veterinarian will ask that these procedures be implemented immediately, and we've got them, really it's kind of a neat moniker, FARM, F-A-R-M, so that you'll help remind you. Farm workers and others, got to cover the piece of people coming on and off your farm. If you're going to leave the farm or enter the farm, shower and change into clothes. Exiting the farm, I told you animals can shed virus before they even show you symptoms. So you may be infected and not even know it. You don't want to take virus somewhere else. So shower off your farm and on your farm after working with your animals, and get your neighbors doing it too. You are not an island in this thing. Nobody's going to let you move milk and everybody else be restricted. You're all in it together. Animal contact, observe your animals frequently, and I showed you the signs. They were important. These are things that if you see them, you need to report them immediately. You can do it through your veterinarian or through the state veterinarian. Okay? Limit movement to just essential traffic, and even limit that within the farm premises to avoid bringing a lot of stuff on and off your farm, especially since you're going to have to be deconning it. And then avoid practice that could expose people or livestock to foot and mouth. I've got a number of them listed on here, and you can see that as you go through the document that it's things such as practices associated with on-farm cheese making, feeding of waste milk and milk products and various foods to other animals or even your own, movement of animals through livestock markets for resale rather than for slaughter. Hopefully, we do hope that at some point we could open up slaughter markets, because we got a lot of animals that need to move out of harm's way. But until that's done, slaughter facilities and livestock markets are going to be shut down, folks. It's just going to be tough on us. As soon as we contain it, get our biosecurity in place, get these areas to where we can say, okay, this one might be infected, but this one's not. Let's do something and move. That's what we're looking for. But until then, those restrictions are going to be in place. All right, let's keep moving. So we've covered kind of our farm workers and our animal contacts. Let's talk now about access. Continue to push that point to your farm. Yeah, your security gate and your signs and limited access, farm traffic to essential people. Even keeping a log of who's been on your farm can be very important. Okay? Establish a security perimeter. Get in your head what you're trying to protect. Because folks, doing biosecurity is tough work. I'm not here to say it's not. In fact, I'm going to encourage you to not say that you can biosecure your whole town, your whole community, everything. You are responsible for biosecuring your farm. And that's going to be work enough. So get it in your mind what you're going to biosecure. If you have to move and circle the wagon, so to speak, move some things in a smaller area to biosecure them, then do that. Okay? And then loads of feed, other supplies, single farm deliveries. I told you we want to restrict access. Well, we also want to make sure that farms are not being visited by vehicles going farm to farm to farm to farm. It just increases the risk that we've got that virus could be picked up and transferred. Okay? So single deliveries, okay, and clean vehicles in between. Milk movement, all right, here it comes down to it. If you're not in the quarantine zone, that's restricted zone, that's not allowed to move milk because it's got infection in it, all right? If you're not there, officials are going to try to move milk. Folks, we like drinking milk just like other folks, and we know that it's critical to our health. I mean, what better food out there is there than milk? We've got to have it. So we're going to facilitate that, but not at the risk of contaminating more farms. So it's a tough piece there that will drive us to want to do it, but we still got to reassure ourselves that it's safe. Okay, that's half of your document. Let's finish this up by talking about vehicle decon. And this whole section just really goes through how to set up a wash station. An entrance when you come into the farm. And I know farms are set up differently. Some of them's got short entrances. Some of them you just back right up to the milking shed and you dump right out of the bulk tank. But setting up as best you can biosecurity to where when that tanker pulls up there, it can be deconned so that it does not bring infection onto your farm or virus. And the way that it is, it would be to wash all mud, manure off your vehicles, wash them in a location where the water does not drain into a ditch that goes into a water source. Because you're going to use some disinfectant, you don't want to do that. Have a water source having disinfectant in it, or virus if it happened to be a contaminated vehicle. And you also don't want it exposed to your cattle or to the traffic that serves the cattle. Don't put it to where it washes down into a ditch that further down into the farm you have to walk through that ditch to get to the milking bar. Don't do that. Okay?